Do you know that guy?
Hey all, Jed's here, just going to go over a quick how-to and why I went on the chrome side covers of my Bonneville T120. Mainly it was just, I know it sounds pretty vain, but it was just for cleaning purposes. The aluminum side covers were exceptionally hard to clean, right in the rain, so everything was getting all crumbed up. I'll show you later after I do a little cleanup on these covers. But basically it was a super easy job. If you got decent mechanical, and if you're mechanically inclined, you should be able to do this job no problem. I did the cam cover, the chain cover, when I did the chain and sprocket conversion, followed up with the stator cover and the clutch cover. The stator cover was definitely the hardest. It's pretty easy. All you do is remove your bolts. On this side here, on the stator cover, you'll feel a little tab. That's where you're going to input your little screwdriver or your pry tool, and you kind of slowly move away from the engine case, slightly tapping with a rubber mallet on the aluminum case. Now, they gave you spare gaskets. I got all my parts through Triumph, and I didn't need any of them. I actually was able to salvage both gaskets on both sides, and you just pull it off. Your stator's going to be on the back side of this plate. You're going to remove the 3 bolts that hold the stator on. You're going to remove the pickups, and it's really interesting because you'll notice that everything on the stator is made in Japan. The flywheel's even made, the engine flywheel's even made in Japan. So it's all Denso electrics, which makes me go, oh, thank goodness. So anyways, I do know about the electrical issues with this bike, but I'm going to keep an eye out for that. Anyways, it's a really easy job. You just pop it out. It took me maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe 2 hours tops. It was kind of a warm day, so I kind of took my time with it. You'll notice I put my UK flag batch sticker here. This was only to kind of protect the chain guard, because my last chain guard, front sprocket guard, was getting worn by the sole of my boot, so I decided to put that on just to kind of protect this from scratching. Also, the chrome is very resistant to scratching, so I haven't had any scratch issues where I was already starting to see scratching and nicking on my aluminum covers. The clutch cover was by far the easiest of them to do. You could kind of tell how clean it is, and it just shines so easy. There's no real scratches or buffeting. You kind of notice a little bit of imperfections where my boot rubs, but I mean, I've had these covers on for over 2,000 miles now, and they really held up a lot better than the stock covers. The clutch side is just as simple. There's a tab here, there's a tab over here that you kind of use your pry tool. I used a blunted screwdriver flathead to kind of pry it open, hit it with a rubber mallet, it comes right out. The clutch side's actually pretty easy. Just make sure that you reassemble with the washer and all the components when you put it back together so that your clutch actually works. But the one thing I want to note is that you're going to have to remove all your bolts, of course, and make sure that you disconnect. You're going to remove your shifter and you disconnect your clutch brake line or clutch line, so that you can have it completely out of the way, so that it's not getting in the way when you try to reline up everything. There's a couple of pins in this clutch cover that can either come out, that can either stay in the case or come out with the cover. Make sure that you have all your pins in place so that nothing falls apart. The starter primary gear will come loose easily, so just make sure that's in there correctly before you reassemble, so that when you go to start it and you don't screw anything up, shear some teeth, or worse, lock the motor. So but it was super easy. All the parts come over. I didn't use any silicone. The only place I used silicone was on the stator side, where the stator legs came out to the rectifier. For all those that are interested, I used the Starbright Bike Ultimate Guard, Detailer, and Protectant on my motorcycle. All in all, I'd say it's a really good investment. It cost me about $400 to get all the covers changed over. You just got to kind of price them out on eBay. That's where I found them. So they're all Triumph parts. Highly recommend the upgrade. It definitely is worth spending a little time, a little money just to get those covers on there. This is a lifetime piece. This is going to make the bike look great for the lifetime of the machine. Where I've dealt with, if you were to just keep your aluminum covers, you're going to end up with something like this in 30 years. You know, you're going to have this oxidation. You're going to have these issues. Don't get me wrong, this bike's been a little neglected and I'm currently rebuilding it, but you'll notice that there's so much oxidation on all these aluminum cover parts. And that's what's going to happen with the covers on the stock T120. They're just going to kind of oxidize over the time. Now, if you don't plan on having the machine for more than 5 years, I guess it's no big deal. You could keep polishing, keep wrenching. I actually really intend on keeping this bike for a very long time. And I may even just keep it when it comes time to retire it as my daily ride. So I want to make sure that this bike just maintains that beautiful look, that ageless, timeless look, and that's why I kind of invested on these chrome covers. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please leave them below. I really love listening to my viewers. I try to interact as much as possible. I can't say I always interact. I'm always so busy either working or riding. 'Tis the season, so I usually don't spend too much time on social media. Next week I'm going to try to get around to explaining how I did my tubeless conversion, and I'm now currently running ZR rated tires. I'll get to that. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to, but it was kind of a rush kind of job. And then the last thing I want to kind of note is I'm currently under warranty claim with Triumph, and it has been a total bear. They are taking so much time. It is ridiculous. So I'm going to show them this link, and hopefully they get their act together. But I'm going to let you know that it's been a total hassle due to the fact that my dealer is about 5-hour round trip, so I don't have time to get out to see them, and the support's just been really weaning. So anyways, that's kind of the downer. I mean, the bike's running great. It's just dripping a little bit of radiator fluid. Still plan on riding about 3,000 miles next week with it. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be totally fine. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll try to keep you guys plugged up and updated with all the modifications I do to my T120. You guys have an awesome day. Ride safe. Best.